Am I the asshole for refusing to cut the umbilical cord? My wife is full term and being induced tomorrow. I told her quite early on that I didn't want to cut to the cord. I know it's just me and that I'm making it weird, but I find it really squeamish to cut into human flesh. It seems like a medical procedure and I'm really uncomfortable with it. My wife appeared to accept my decision at the time but under protest. Now the big day is upon us. My wife has pressed the issue again. I told her I want to be involved in every way I can, including catching the baby and handing him or her we don't know the sex to their new mum. I feel that my wife has a Hollywood idea of birth, including that I cut the cord. She also wants me to get in the shower with her and rub her back during labor, which she saw on a Netflix show. I've asked why the cord is so important to her and she couldn't say. Am I the asshole? Edit to answer some common questions. 1. The squeamishness is only about the cutting. I am a first responder so I've seen every kind of gore you can think of. Blood, guts, screaming etc. I am used to these things. 2. I don't want to get in the shower but I will because it's a reasonable request and it's a way I can compromise given my feelings about the cord. Not the asshole. If you don't want to cut human flesh, especially if you feel that is a violent action to do towards another person or it is a medical procedure, then you shouldn't. But what do you mean you are going to catch the baby? I'm guessing she is planning on doing more of a home birth kind of thing? You do understand how messy and horrifying watching a birth can be with there also being a lot of tearing, so if you are squeamish about cutting the cord I really think you need to make sure you know what you are getting into. Not the asshole. I've never met a single person whose birth plan went how they thought, from both big and little changes. But having one is comforting at a time of high stress and pain. I wouldn't argue about this with your very pregnant wife if you don't have to. You know her wishes, she knows yours. No need to debate it. But decline and help her cuddle the baby while the cord is cut. I hope everything goes fabulously for all three of you. Not the asshole. My husband never cut the cord with our 2 boys and I don't care. Honestly, my favorite thing was the midwife who took photos. I had a C-section and one of them is my husband looking at our son for the first time. Being truthful, I don't know a lot of fathers who do cut the cord. Not the asshole. If you're not comfortable literally cutting the cord, I think the last thing that should be between you and your newborn is essentially a very sharp knife. Just popping in to say my husband was squeamish about it too and didn't cut the cord. I still felt like he advocated for me, protected me, encouraged me every step of the way and overall was an active partner through the entire process, including getting in the shower with me and doing hip presses during contractions, which were a huge savior. Pro tip: pack swim trunks and bring a birth ball into the shower if you can. Not the asshole. Just make sure to share with your wife all the ways you are eager to participate and support both her and your newborn and I'm sure it'll be okay. My husband didn't either. Don't blame him. To be perfectly honest, I'd have rathered not be in close proximity myself. Shit like this doesn't matter, it's showing up day after day and being an involved parent that counts. Nah here I guess, but this is hardly a Hollywood idea of birth. Both of the things you mentioned are completely normal and common. I don't think I've ever heard the cord being called human flesh and it's a bit off-putting. Not the asshole. My fiancé isn't sure he can even look at the cord without feeling squeamish. Don't feel bad, it is what it is. I put in my birth plan. If he can't do it, I will. Good luck, hope everything goes well with the birth of your baby. Could you say a no that sounds like a yes? Like when they ask, say I would love to be involved, may I hold him while it gets cut? Or something which gets you in there while not doing the actual cutting part. Or ask your wife if she wants to plan for her to cut it if she feels strongly about the cord being cut. With support, obviously. I also think there will be so much going on in those first seconds after birth that fears, wants, and things you fixate on for the duration of your pregnancy kind of get lost in the chaos of the moment often. I'm pregnant and I would never expect my husband to have to do that. Just be there for your wife and newborn. The doctors can handle the umbilical cord. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. This is but a mere second in the baby's life. No one will really care in the long. Your wife makes a big deal about it. It's not the momentous occasion that movies make it out to be. Nah. Of course you don't have to. She probably is just looking for more ways to share the experience with you. She's literally doing all of the work. Maybe from her perspective, you doing that means you're taking a more active role. I doubt it'll matter at all in the moment because there will be an actual baby, which is way more exciting than cutting the cord. Not the asshole. My husband was a bit freaked out by it, so he politely declined. The doctor started pressuring him, so I told the doctor to do it himself. Not the asshole. She can cut it if she wants. Nah. We all have a vision of how we'd like the birth to go. Can't blame her for that. But I don't blame you for not wanting to cut the cord either. My husband wanted to, but he was very shaky both times, and it freaked him out. But now he gets to point to the kid's belly buttons and say, I helped make that. Lol. They will ask you if you want to cut it in the delivery room. Just say no. She'll be busy and probably won't even notice you didn't do it. I didn't watch my husband do it either time. I was getting stitches. Trust me, she is not going to be worrying about this after the baby is here. Not the asshole. My husband told the doctor, hey, you're the professional, go for it, smiley face. Life is full of uncomfortable moments. Your wife has had 9 months of them and you've got a lot of them to look forward to while you look after a baby, like the baby vomiting into your mouth moment. Lots of uncomfortable moments that you can't opt out of. But this one you can opt out of. Why make life more uncomfortable than it needs to be? You wouldn't want her to do anything she was uncomfortable with if it was easy to opt out, right? Also, the perfect birth doesn't include the father being grossed out, so cutting the cord while grossed out isn't really creating the best moment for her even if you try. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I have 2 kids and my partner didn't cut either of their cords. Ultimately, it's your decision. It might seem important now, but once she's in labor everything else will quickly stop mattering. Man, I felt pressure to cut the cord with our first. It was horrible and I have bad visceral memories of it from time to time that still make shudder. Don't do it if you don't want to. Lol. My husband didn't want to do it, so I asked if I could do it. They said sure. It's not easy sawing through that thing, it's a tough material. Just wanted to pop in and note how life-altering a pregnancy and delivery is. It is quite possible to be life-ending. She has to push a whole-ass baby out of her. Rips and tears. Might even prolapse. Poop, pee, blood and fluids. All I'm saying is so much work for her and all she asked was for you to cut the cord. That's not asking much. You're a first responder, so if you were responding to an unassisted birth, would you still be too squeamish to cut the cord? Nata, if you don't want to, then you don't want to. But my husband didn't until the moment came and he did, so don't overthink it. And I don't think it's a Hollywood idea of birth to have you cut cord, but it's also okay to not do that if it makes you feel squeamish. Not the asshole. You've discussed this early on, you're very supportive otherwise, and only have one simple boundary. This is very fair. Nata. Make sure the doctors know how you feel so they know not to ask. Info: is this a home birth? You don't really catch the baby and no hospital that I'm aware of does the shower thing. Nata. My ex didn't want to cut the cord either. Your choice. I couldn't then and still don't see why it's expected.